Coming up tonight on the CW, we have the first part of a Arrowverse Crossover Event, the Crisis on Infinite Earths. On this show, we're going to talk about what that event means in the history of DC Comics, as well as what it could mean for the future of Arrowverse on TV. My name is Adam Black from the Click Nation. We're going to get into it right now. Hey, what's up? I'm Adam Black from the Click Nation. On this channel, we're going to talk about all types of comic book movies and TV shows and how they relate back to the comic books themselves, and hopefully you might want to be a comic book reader yourself. So if you like that type of content, please like the video and subscribe below. Now on to the video. Tonight on the CW, we have the first part of a multi-night event called the Crisis on Infinite Earths. It will involve the Arrowverse TV shows on CW, and I'm going to have a listing of those shows and what you need to look out for coming up. This is an event that has been alluded to since the first episode of the Flash TV series that's believed back in 2014, where we saw a future newspaper basically stating that the Flash would disappear in the Crisis event. So that had us as geeks, all happy. That's a pretty big Easter egg. But now the event is coming true. And basically just about everything for the last few years for the Arrowverse has been coming to this point. And we got hints of it back in the 2018 crossover event, Elseworlds. And that was an event where the Arrowverse characters were flipped, where you had Barry Allen as the Green Arrow and Oliver Queen as the Flash. But during that event, that's where we were introduced to the Monitor, who also has ties to the actual crossover event in the comic books. And we saw the villain Psycho Pirate locked up in Arkham Asylum, basically quoting this famous line from the actual miniseries, that tagline from the actual crossover.
The stage is set. Worlds will live. Worlds will die. And the universe will never be the same.
Now everything has come true. The crisis is now upon us, and basically what the event is that there is a wave of antimatter that is sweeping across the multiverse. Now, explaining the multiverse is basically this. The CW Arrowverse shows take place on alternate worlds. The main line Arrowverse world takes place on Earth 1. That's where the adventures of Flash, Arrow, Batwoman, and the Legends of Tomorrow take place. The adventures of Supergirl actually take place on Earth 38. 38 meaning often associated with the character of Superman debuting. So those adventures take place on Earth 38, while the adventures of Black Lightning actually take place on an alternate universe from those. And that kind of gives you an idea of different realities, but each of these realities are in danger of being erased as this wave of antimatter sweeps across the multiverse. Earth 2 has already fallen into this wave of antimatter. So now it's up to the Arrowverse heroes to make one last stand and prevent all reality from being erased. Now, the reason it's a major deal is that DC and Warner Bros. Have produced a lot of content, TV shows, movies related around DC Comics heroes, and this event will see those heroes appear, as we have already seen images and footage of Tom Welling reprising his role as Clark Kent from Smallville in the miniseries. We'll also see Brandon Routh reprise his role as Superman from Superman Returns. This time he's going to play Kingdom Come Superman, another major storyline from the 1990s, as well as Kevin Conroy, who has voiced Batman on various projects over the years since Batman the Animated Series, and he's probably the one guy that's played Batman the most of all the actors that have actually done it. But anyway, he will actually be in front of the camera this time, as he will play Batman, more likely with the suit that he's wearing, Kingdom Come Batman. So there's always a chance that other characters that have appeared as DC characters in the past will make appearances on here. The Crisis on Infinite Earths was actually originally a miniseries that was published back in 1985 to celebrate DC Comics' 50th anniversary. High level overview is that basically it's the same multiverse concept. For instance, your mainline DC heroes adventures took place on Earth 1. Those are the characters that started in the Silver Age comics. So you had the Barry Allen Flash along with Hal Jordan as Green Lantern, as well as, of course, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. But then you had Earth 2, and those characters were the Golden Age characters from the 1930s and 40s. So you had a much older Superman, a much older Batman, but you had Jay Garrick as the Flash, Alan Scott as Green Lantern, and so on. Instead of the Justice League of America of Earth 1, you had the Justice Society of America of Earth 2. And those characters would often team up over the years. And their team-ups would often be termed, the storylines would be called Crisis. So you had Crisis on Earth 1, Crisis on Earth 2, Crisis on Earth 3. And it went on like that. Earth 3 is a world where everything was the reverse. So instead of heroes, you had villains. So you had, instead of the Justice League of America, you had the Crime Syndicate of America, who is led by Ultraman, who was a villainous version of Superman, and you had Owlman, who was a bad guy version of Batman. So that's the type of thing that was created that was going on in DC at the time. Because of these alternate worlds, you could play around and have different stories. For instance, on Earth 2, you had Batman actually getting married to Catwoman, and they would have a daughter called the Huntress. Now, the one thing about it is that this might be confusing for comic book readers, so they created the event Crisis on Infinite Earths, written by Marv Wolfman, illustrated by George Perez, as a way to streamline all the continuity. Now, not only did you have these 3 Earths, but you also had Earths of characters that DC had acquired or bought through acquisition, such as Earth S, where the Shazam heroes existed, the original Captain Marvel. You had Earth 4, where you had the Charlton comic characters, where you had the Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, and Peacemaker, and so on. Those characters existed on that world, but now the idea was to streamline the continuity into one timeline, and that way it would be better for readers going forward. And that was the purpose of the Crisis. Now, one other thing that happened during the Crisis, it's basically the same thing. Antimatter wave, destroying all the multiple Earths, literally erased from existence during this time. So the Monitor had to assemble a team of heroes once again to take on the Anti-Monitor. And during this conflict, you had various characters that met their demise during this crossover event. Most notably, Supergirl would die, and you have that iconic pose of Superman holding her dead body in his arms. Then you also had the Flash, who made the most heroic sacrifice, and we've already been alluded that this might happen to Barry Allen, the Flash, in the CW. It's already been foretold. Arrow has been working towards this since the season started, which is their final season, but it has already been alluded that Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, would have to die in order to save the multiverse. So he's been kind of gearing towards this. That is pretty much it, guys. I'm excited for this. I'm going to get together with some friends and we're going to watch part 1 tonight. But in order for you to watch it, here's the order that you need to look out for. Tonight on CW at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is part 1 of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which will take place on the episode of Supergirl. The following night, December 9th, is Batwoman, also at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And December 10th will be part 3, taking place on the episode of The Flash, also at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, here's the thing. After part 3, you will have to wait until January 14th, 2020, in the new year, to watch the final episodes. So part 4 will take place on Arrow on January 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, followed by DC's Legends of Tomorrow, which will take place at 9 p.m. But guys, I'm really excited. Is there a character that you hope will make an appearance in the Crisis that you haven't seen from a previous DC movie or TV show or some other Easter egg? If you can, leave those comments down below. And if you're excited, just let me know. And hopefully we'll have some excitement. Till then, take care. I'll see you next time.